Welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn to page 2 in your liturgy books. Gata of Atonement, all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. saranam gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened. May their vows be completely realized. And may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill this space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness in the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness in the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering in the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering in the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Enme Juku Kanangyo on page 6. Enme Juku Kanangyo Kanze Yanamu Butsuyo Butsu Inyo Butsu En Boko So En Jo Rakuga Jo Chonen Kanze Yan Bonen Kanze Yan Nen Nen Jushin Ki Nen Nen Furi Shin Kanze Yan Namu Butsuyo Butsu En Yo Butsu En Boko So En Jo Rakuga Jo Chonen Kanze Yan Bonen Kanze Yan Nen Nen Jushin Ki Nen Nen Furi Shin Kanze Yan Namu Butsuyo Butsu En Yo Butsu En Boko So En Jo Rakuga Jo Chonen Kanze Yan Bonen Kanze Yan Nen Nen Jushin Ki Nen Nen Furi Shin absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absorbing world. Sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absorbing world. Sounds awakens the Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the Great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all those who suffer as a result of injustices, calamity, cruelty, and war, and to Bruce, Gil, Diane, Kaijin, Stephen, Sister Suzette, John, Charles, Reverend Eugen, and Roger. May they have peace and healing. And to Laverne, Bill, Sean, and Jim at the time of their death, and to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all on earth, one please prepare for Zazen? We will now recite the Sangha Covenant found on page 8. We, the Daishin Hokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated. I'll sit comfortably so you can make eye contact with the teachers. And in a moment, we will recite the Gatha on opening the sutra, also found on page 8. Are you ready? Okay. She's ready. Are you good? Okay. Ready? Gatha on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
All right. Good morning, everybody. We are tabling.
We so are.
Yes, we are. We are tabling. We are tabling. So today, we decided it would be really useful, hopefully, to take this time to introduce the upcoming spring Ango. Much ado about nothing, but a particular nothing. This nothing is going to be the Lankavatara Sutra, okay? So what I'm going to share a little bit is about, maybe for those to whom the subject might be new, what's Ango and why do I care? and something about the Lankavatara and why that's a fitting subject worthy of your attention. And then Dawn will give some teachings on the tone and tenor of what it means to engage in Ango training and practice. And then Reverend Kensei is going to help iterate some of the specific ways that we all can opt, if it makes sense for us, to dig in and enjoy our practice. So for my part, what is Ango? What's the deal? Well, it turns out that there's a great deal of wisdom in the tradition that has to do with recognizing the ebb and flow of things. Turns out that's wise, right? Trying to run a marathon as a sprinter is not a good idea, right? It doesn't work that way. Long-term durability in anything, a successful marriage, quote unquote, a business that persists over time for worthy causes, a parent-child relationship, say, anything that matters, an artist with their art. Inevitably, there will be ebbs and flows. There's times of intensifying, times of deepening, times of relaxing and integrating, okay? So the temple schedule, it follows the traditional kind of cleaving of the year into 4 distinct times. We're now in the concluding week, this week upcoming, of what's called the winter training period. There's a certain quality to the winter training period. It has to do with silence and stillness and letting settling in occur, so on. Then we'll move now into what's called the spring Ango period, okay? It starts next week at this time, and will go for about 90 days, the traditional length. And then, of course, that's followed by the spring training period, which is the polar opposite of winter. It's not an Ango period, but there's a lot happening in the summer. A lot of chaotic growth, a lot of shifting, a lot of changing, a lot of different programming. And then fall, again, an Ango arises. And when the fall Ango comes to a conclusion, the winter training period unfolds again. And this cyclical thing goes on and on. And so, what is Ango about? Traditionally, we've used language that I think doesn't fit right now at all. And I'd like to change that language. Our traditional language has been, it's time to turn the heat up. It's time to get intense. It's time to dig in. And I feel strongly that in today's moment where we find ourselves, this is not the right frame. This is not a helpful way to think about it. There's plenty of fire happening everywhere right now, right? There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of intensity. It's almost like, you know, when you go into a room and there's a lot of static energy there and you just touch something and a shock occurs. There's a lot of heat energy right now. So rather than frame this Ango as now I'm going to turn the heat up and furrow your brow and laser in, I strongly suggest that we think of it rather as a relaxing into peaceful dwelling and allow your practice to deepen. It should be gentle but deep, okay? Allow your practice to gently deepen. It's more gardener than samurai, okay? We're not chop right now. Let it grow. Pay attention though, cultivate it. Pay attention to the garden of your practice. Allow its roots to sink in deeply, but it must be gentle, and the flowers and the veggies must grow at their own tempo, yeah? And this is wise. This is the way we should proceed. Now, precisely what that looks like for any one of us will vary. It'll change. Wherever your practice is now, lovely. And how might it deepen? So there's an individual ask for each of us who are practicing members of this community to consider objectively and intellectually, honestly, what your practice has been like. And no one's checking up on you. There's no eye in the sky accounting for your misdeeds or heroisms. It's simply not happening. But for you it is. For you it is, right? So for you, take some time and really think about what your practice has been, and then we'll listen to Reverend Kensei give us some iterations about possible ways to allow your practice to gently deepen more as this Ango unfolds. Now, in every Ango, one of the features that there is a head of practice. In this case, it shall be myself. I will serve as the head practitioner for this Ango. Hopefully, soon we'll have more shusos ordained in lay to take that role. Kosho did handsomely last go around and still wears the white robe with dignity, a feat unto itself. But for this Ango, I will take the helm again, and I wish to further work with the Lankavatara Sutra. Some here may know that 2 years ago, I thought it would be a weekend topic. and the sutra has had its way with me, I'll tell you. You know, it has really said, now son, sit down and listen. You sit down and listen now. And I have said, yes, ma'am, and I have listened. And this Sangha has grown deeply as a result. I have grown immensely as a result of sitting at the feet of the Lankavatara Sutra. This sutra is the core text with which Bodhidharma brought Zen from India up into China. It's essential to our tradition. The Heart Sutra, which we typically chant on a given Sunday, the Diamond Sutra, which we read regularly at our vigils and funeral services, these are distillations and iterations of the wisdom contained in the Lankavatara. And the Lankavatara came to my attention decades ago as my first teacher, Daido Roshi, wrote an introduction to a translation by Dwight Goddard, which he did in the 30s, I believe. So it's been around, but it is part of the transmission of our lineage. Upon receiving Inka Shomei, I received a first edition D.D. Suzuki copy of his translation of the Lankavatara as a document of my Inka Shomei transmission. And then it was like, son, check it out. Okay, like this is important. And it now resides here it supports the snail in front of Manjushri. That is a translation of the Lankavatara. So for 2 years, it's taken me this 2-year weekend to try to expose and to iterate and to learn from the sutra. And I feel strongly that it has much to offer. And there is some kind of conclusion that's trying to happen. I do believe that in this Ango period, I shall fully espouse the sutra, and we shall have a workshop about it. I really hope you come and attend. What's been occurring to me is translating the sutra, not simply as a scholar, but as a practitioner, but also how to take the wisdom of the sutra and make it something that anybody can practice. How can anybody begin to practice and realize the truths that the Lankavatara points to? In truth, Zen itself is nothing but that. And yet, there are some practices that I think will be helpful for us. So this is what's happening. We're moving into our Ango period. Itself harkens to when, in the Buddhist time, he and his disciples would go to the caves during the monsoon seasons, wait out the heavy rains, and the Buddha would like lay down the teachings, you know, and it was a party. It was cool. I mean, you know, can you not imagine just being sequestered with the great sage himself, listening to the sweet nectar of the Dharma for a chunk of time? What a wonderful moment. What a wonderful season. What a wonderful time. And then when the rains cleared, the skies opened, the disciples would go forth, the Buddha would again go on his kind of tour and teach the world. And then again, the rains would come, and again, the Sangha would gather and go deep. So the invitation for us all, for myself, for all of us, is to really embrace Ango in a way that makes sense and is gentle but firm. Gentle but real. Allow your practice to deepen. And let's pay some attention to this wisdom of the Lankavatara. Prajna Paramita is our subject. I hope I served you well.
Thank you, Roshi. That was really inspirational. So we're all invited to the party. We're all at the party, actually, right now. What we've been working on during the winter practice period was each step home, right? And as Roshi pointed out, Ango means peaceful dwelling. So peaceful home. Each step, peaceful dwelling. It's just a wonderful way that that just segues right in. And what I'm going to be talking about is actually how do we practice this each step, peaceful dwelling, right? First, we were talking about it earlier, how we were going to present the material, and Roshi said it's a cool zone, right? So we are walking into and sitting in a cool zone, right? The world is a little bit hot right now, right? Not to mention the fire horse coming in from the Chinese calendar. So we are all being cool at the party, keeping our keeping our heads clear, right? And how do we do that, right? So there's going to be so many things that Kensei is going to talk about, all the different ways. And mostly, I want to remind us that all of these things that we can participate in and kind of should participate in, a lot of them, they actually support this peaceful dwelling. They actually support each step, peaceful dwelling. And I thought I would share something of our heritage, a particular practitioner, Shi Tao, who was really good at doing Ango. And you'll notice as we're reading this poem that relationship between community and solitude that we're all practicing here as we're dwelling peacefully is really alive for Shi Tao. It's called The Song of the Grass Roof Hermitage. I've built a grass hut where there's nothing of value. After eating, I relax and enjoy a nap. When it was completed, fresh weeds appeared on the hut. Now it's been lived in, covered by weeds. Peaceful dwelling, covered by weeds. The lotus in the fire. The person in the hut lives here calmly, not stuck to inside, outside, or in between. Places worldly people live, she doesn't live. Realms worldly people love, he doesn't love. Though the hut is small, it includes the entire world. In just this place, a practitioner illumines forms and their nature. A Mahayana Bodhisattva trusts without doubt. The middling or lowly can't help wondering, will this hut perish or not? Perishable or not, the original master is present. Who might that be? Not dwelling south or north, east or west, firmly based on steadiness. It can't be surpassed. We are practicing the unsurpassable, this peaceful dwelling that is unsurpassable. And nothing's going to squish it or overwhelm it. A shining window below the green pines, jade palaces or vermilion towers can't compare with it. Just sitting with head covered, all things are at rest. Thus, this mountain monk doesn't understand at all. Living here, she no longer works to get free. Who would proudly arrange seats, trying to entice guests? Turn around the light to shine within, then just return. The vast, inconceivable source can't be faced or turned away from. Meet the ancestral teachers, be familiar with their instruction, check. Bind grasses to build a hut, and don't give up. And don't give up. In a very open-handed, opening the hand of thought, opening the hand of whatever is arising. Let go of hundreds of years and relax completely. Open your hands and walk innocent. So this is what we're up to, this particular Ango. May we all practice well.
Now, please hold the spirit of that poem. We're going to pass out a really big document about the calendar. But just hold yourself in that hut, peaceful dwelling. And you're going to actually be receiving 2 documents. The first one is the temple calendar for Spring Ango. Please do not look at this right now.
Release the handout.
Yes, yes, they're coming from the monitors. And this, I live with this. This handout about the calendar has the whole year's calendar in it, so it's a ton of information. Just take this home so you have it. This is the Spring Ango version. This paper is, despite feeling permanent, it is not. So understand the calendar is a process, and everything in here is what we intend for Ango and beyond, but things might change. So when the summer training period comes, get a new copy of this, okay, or look at it online. This is linked on our website too. So just set this one aside. It's much too much for today. The other one, the single sheet, is the one that I want to talk about today. So this page, does everyone have one? Not yet. This document is meant to very much support what our teachers have been talking about today, about how to deepen your practice in a really peaceful dwelling manner, so that it's based in your real life, right? If you look at this, this commitment practice plan, this is for our initiate and practicing members. If you are interested in all these things that we're doing, please see Reverend Jukai for information about membership. What I really want to draw your attention to first and up front is the little line above where you sign. And it says, recognizing the ebb and flow of life circumstances and the great benefits of practicing regardless. I commit to offering sincere effort. And this ebb and flow of our lives is so important to recognize and to be able to have peaceful dwelling only in that context of our actual reality. I think I've been practicing through 20 Angos or so, and I think that the ebb and flow of life circumstances is probably the most polite way to say what those 20 Angos have been like. Ebb and flow. The first time I encountered Ango, I think the topic was death and dying, which I had just happened to be doing. I was very, very sick. And so deepening practice, absolutely. Sitting 45 minutes of Zazen twice a day, absolutely not, right? Other Angos, children having mental health crises, moving homes, having a lung transplant, COVID. We all practiced through that pandemic, right? So the ebb and flow of our life circumstances is never going to change. There's always going to be times where it's easier to embrace the forms of practice, and times where we look at our lives and have to find ways to deepen our practice by actually practicing what is so. So that's the spirit of thinking about committing to an Ango practice. There's basically 3 parts to this, this plan. And in the first part, you see it's about Zazen and temple service, because Zazen is the foundation of all our activity, right? So it's very important that we prioritize that. And that doesn't, again, depending on the ebb and flow of life, may look like having 5 minutes of Zazen every morning and setting your intentions for the day, reading the daily liturgy. And that's true in your life, and that's deepening practice. Even if you maybe used to sit for an hour every day, it's still deepening practice to practice with what is so. And if this is your life today, practicing 5 minutes of Zazen is actually deepening your practice. It's important that we don't think about this in terms of keeping score with ourselves or our friends, right? Especially ourselves. That's kind of the opposite of deepening practice, actually, just to say it. And the second part of the first part is about coming to temple service. And again, this is very dependent on our life circumstances. There's times where absolutely you can be here every Sunday, or you sit every morning, and then the job changes or the career changes, and we modify, but we don't, as the poem said, we don't give up. So staying with it is deepening practice. And then we listed out the schedule for you of the daily Zazens. I don't want to spend a ton of time actually talking about all the details of this, because we've set some time aside for that. If this is something that you're interested in doing, we have some kind of workshop times planned. So today, during the lunch, if you want to come back to the Buddha Hall, I'm going to be back there, and I can help walk you through it. And there may be parts that you're not familiar with about what happens at the temple, and so we can talk about what is noon zazen and daily liturgy, anything like that. So that's going to happen at 4 times. Today is one of them. The rest of them are on the daily snail. If you turn it over, the second part is about special Ango programming we have planned. I do want to talk about a few of these specific details, because some of them are changes and new for this Ango. But I also want to say that an email is coming out. Is it today? Not today. Soon. Very, very soon. Reverend Shokai and Reverend Chukai and myself are working on getting this very comprehensive Ango email to you. And please maybe bookmark that when you receive it so you can refer back to it. It will have all the links you need for everything that's happening. It'll have all the dates. It's a big project. So, what's that? It'll have this talk in it, and it will also have a copy of this document in it. So we're trying to make it very comprehensive for everybody. Excuse me. Okay, so looking at the Ango programming, one thing we're doing this Ango is we're doing an experiment to, as the temple has evolved and our Sangha has grown, we're going to try having noble conversations, is what it's called, here at the temple. So rather than the Sangha circles that we're all kind of used to and have done for quite a while, meeting in people's homes, we're going to try gathering here at the temple, attached to a period of Zazen on the evening service times. And then for distance members or folks who can't get to the temple, this will also be available on Zoom. So it's a hybrid experience for everybody. And we'll have a topic provided by our Ango guide. And we'll have some discussion around it. We'll sit together, and then we'll break into small groups and be able to just talk about how our practice is going, how the Ango topic is working on us, things like that. So similar to Sangha circles, but not really the same thing. So here at the temple with Zazen. And we're just going to try it this Ango and see how it is. As Roshi mentioned, he'll be giving extensive teachings on the Lankavatara throughout Ango, and especially during the workshop, which is a full-day workshop this Ango, and also will be hybrid. And then Doan Roshi will be offering White Tara teachings on one Saturday morning in March. And Reverend Shokai will be teaching about the 4 immeasurables, and those dates are listed. So those are 4 things to look at your calendar and consider as special Ango programming. The third part of this document is sort of an abbreviated menu of ongoing opportunities at the temple. And so this is where you might not be familiar with all these different things, and if we come to one of these sessions where we'll work through this worksheet together, I can answer any questions you might have about these different areas of the mandala functioning. That was so many words and so much is happening. I'm really excited about this Ango. I feel like, we've sat together through this winter and it's been so cold and we're only really halfway through winter, but you can feel the spring is just really coming. You can, even though it's minus 20 or something, it is coming. You can feel it. I can feel it. You can feel the roots and the seeds, right? They're under all the snow and they're going to be here. And by the end of this Ango, it's going to be full leaves on the trees, right? The whole Zendo is going to be surrounded in green by mid-May. So we think we have much to look forward to. I'm really excited for these culminating teachings of the sutra and just to see everybody practicing together for the sake of all beings.
So let us all meet the ancestral teachers. Let us become familiar with their instruction. I invite you to meet the Lankavatara Sutra more deeply. The sutra invites all of us to meet her more deeply. Tara asks for you to get connected. The 4 immeasurables have your name. Discussion with noble friends, really noble discussion. Really noble discussion. Noble, dignified, elevating self and other with respect and dignity. How is the practice actually landing for you? Become familiar with the instruction and the guidance. And above all, dear one, don't give up. Do not give up. At every turn, there is options to say, I'm out. And you are the master. You can always decide that. But please, the ancestors speak. Please stay. Please practice. Please allow your practice to gently but seriously deepen, because it can. And of all the things you can bring your attention to in this world that are worthy of it, realizing yourself, I suggest, should be at the very top of that list. There are many worthy causes in need of attention. You should give them attention. There are many issues at hand. They need your hands. No one else is going to do it. But this business of coming to awakening is no joke. And the more deep your practice becomes, the more your hands are Avalokiteshvara's hands, reaching into the world and actually alleviating suffering for real. Let go of hundreds of years. Let go of thousands of lifetimes of wins and losses and traumas and boons. Let go of all of it and relax completely. Relax completely. Open your hands and walk ever more deeply into this practice. Realize for yourself each step home. And then extend those open hands and warm embrace and kind and loving heart to yourself and to the world that deeply needs it. Come, dear ones. Come. Let us practice Ango together. May it be so.
I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter